He thought it was just age. The frequent trips to the bathroom at night, the weak, interrupted stream, that lingering pressure that never quite went away. At 66, Michael had quietly accepted this as his new normal. But what he didn't know was that one tiny thing in his breakfast bowl, or rather missing from it, was making his prostate work against him, not with him. Now here's the question I want to ask you. What if the seeds you've been ignoring at the bottom of your cereal box could actually hold the key to calming your prostate? Not next year, not after some expensive treatment, but starting in just a few weeks, naturally. Because here's what most men never get told. Your prostate doesn't just respond to medication. It responds to molecules found in real food, especially certain seeds that can help lower inflammation in your prostate, support testosterone balance, and even reduce the urge to urinate at night. One of these has been clinically shown to shrink prostate size, and yet most men walk past them at the grocery store every single day. No one talks about seeds. We talk about drugs. We talk about surgeries. But we don't talk about what goes into your body each morning and what that does to your prostate all day long. Let's stop for a second. If you're waking up 2 or 3 times a night, if you feel like your bladder is never quite empty, if intimacy has become frustrating or unpredictable, and you're over 60, this is not just aging. It's your prostate signaling that something inside needs attention. And you know what? I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to offer a shift, not a miracle, not magic, but something simple, something natural, something that starts with 3 seeds you can add to your breakfast tomorrow. Stay with me, because in this video, I'll walk you through the 3 most powerful seeds for prostate health over 60. Which one reduces swelling and urgency fast, when to eat them for maximum effect, and the mistake most men make that cancels out their benefit. This isn't about hype. It's about restoring balance where it matters most, because your body is not broken. It's waiting for the right tools to do its job. You just have to give it what it needs. And today, it starts with something as small as a spoonful of seeds. My name is Dr. Lily Anderson. I'm a nutritionist and men's health educator with over 20 years of experience, helping men over 60 regain their vitality without relying on pills they don't need or surgeries they were never told they could avoid. Over the years, I've sat across from thousands of men. Some were scared, some were frustrated, many were simply tired of the late-night urgency, the loss of control, the growing silence around their intimate health. And most of them had no idea that their morning routine, especially what they ate, was either helping their prostate or quietly hurting it. That's what led me here, because there's a critical piece missing in how we talk about men's health after 60. A missing conversation around natural, accessible tools that support the prostate, restore comfort, and help men feel like themselves again. Today, I'm going to show you one of the simplest places to begin: seeds. Not supplements, not prescriptions. Seeds you can find in nearly any grocery store in the U.S., some probably sitting in your pantry right now. These seeds don't just fill you up. They nourish your prostate on a cellular level. They provide minerals like zinc, plant sterols, omega-3s, and antioxidants that have been shown in medical studies to reduce inflammation, support hormone balance, and ease urinary symptoms. In this video, I'll show you exactly which 3 seeds make the biggest impact on prostate health, why one of them is considered a natural 5-alpha reductase inhibitor. Yes, that's the same pathway targeted by popular prostate medications. How to prepare them, when to eat them, and how to combine them with other morning foods for maximum effect. And how one of my patients, who couldn't sleep through the night for years, regained restful sleep in under 4 weeks, just by adding a simple seed blend to his breakfast. Everything I share is backed by science, delivered with care, and explained so that anyone can understand. Because you deserve answers. You deserve options. and you deserve to feel good in your own body again. Let's begin. Let's begin with the first seed. It's one you've probably heard about, maybe even tasted around Halloween, but you might not realize just how powerful it can be when it comes to your prostate. Seed number 1, pumpkin seeds, the zinc-powered inflammation. Fighter pumpkin seeds aren't just a seasonal snack. They're one of the richest natural sources of zinc, a mineral your prostate depends on more than any other organ in your body. In fact, your prostate holds more zinc per gram than your liver, brain, or kidneys. And there's a reason for that. Zinc plays a vital role in controlling inflammation inside the prostate. It also helps regulate testosterone metabolism, which is crucial for maintaining hormonal balance as you age. Several studies have shown that men with benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, often have significantly lower zinc levels than those without it. Let me tell you about Larry, a 64-year-old retired mechanic who told me with a half smile and a full sigh, "Doc, I'm up more than my alarm clock these days." He was referring to waking up 4 or 5 times each night just to urinate. He had tried saw palmetto, tried cutting fluids at night, but nothing seemed to work. We tested his zinc levels. They were on the low end. I asked him to start something simple. 2 tablespoons of raw pumpkin seeds every morning with breakfast. Some days, he tossed them into his oatmeal. Other days, he mixed them into yogurt with fruit. Always raw, always unsalted. Within 3 weeks, the difference surprised even him. He was only waking once per night. His stream was stronger, and he said something that stuck with me: "I don't feel trapped in my body anymore." Pumpkin seeds also contain phytosterols, plant compounds shown to shrink prostate tissue and reduce urinary urgency. They're rich in antioxidants, magnesium, and healthy fats, all of which support blood flow and tissue repair in the pelvic area. How to use pumpkin seeds for prostate health. 2 tablespoons raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds each morning can be added to smoothies, oatmeal, or yogurt. Chew thoroughly for better absorption. Drink a glass of water afterward to support digestion. Now let's move to a less talked about but equally powerful seed. Seed number 2, flax seeds, nature's hormone. Stabilizer flax seeds are tiny, so tiny that many people don't think they do much. But what they lack in size, they make up for in hormonal power. Flax seeds are rich in lignans, natural compounds that help regulate estrogen and testosterone. For older men, this matters more than you might think. When estrogen climbs and testosterone falls, a common pattern after 60, the prostate can become more sensitive to hormonal fluctuations. This leads to swelling, irritation, and urinary issues. Lignans help restore that balance. They bind to estrogen receptors and help modulate the hormonal signals that affect your prostate. But that's not all. Flax seeds also contain omega-3 fatty acids, specifically ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, which support blood vessel health and reduce inflammation systemically. This means your prostate, your heart, and your brain all benefit. There's something else. Flax seeds are high in soluble fiber, and that fiber acts like a broom, sweeping out excess hormones and toxins through your digestive tract, keeping your internal chemistry more balanced. I remember Steve, 67 years old, former high school coach, still full of jokes but quietly worried about his health. He told me, "I feel like everything's slowing down. Even bathroom trips feel incomplete." Steve had borderline metabolic syndrome. His hormones were slightly off. His PSA was elevated, though not dangerously. We added just 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed to his morning routine, mixed into a protein shake or stirred into oatmeal. After 4 weeks, his PSA dropped slightly. His bowels moved more regularly, and most importantly to him, he said, "It doesn't feel urgent all the time anymore." How to use flax seeds effectively. 1 tablespoon ground flax seeds daily. Whole flax seeds are harder to digest. Must be ground fresh. Pre-ground loses nutrients quickly. Grind every 3 to 4 days. Store in a sealed container in the fridge to preserve omega-3s. Mix with smoothies, oatmeal, yogurt, or even in eggs. One caution: flax seeds do thin the blood slightly. If you're on blood thinners, speak with your doctor before starting. Now for the third and final seed, the one most overlooked, but arguably the most powerful. Seed number 3, sesame seeds, the unsung hero for hormones and urine flow. Sesame seeds are a staple in many global cuisines, but rarely do we talk about them in the context of men's health. That's a mistake. These small white or black seeds are loaded with phytosterols, magnesium, calcium, and perhaps most importantly, plant-based compounds that support the activity of an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase. Why does that matter? Because 5-alpha reductase is responsible for converting testosterone into DHT dihydrotestosterone, a more potent form of the hormone. While DHT is important for male development, too much of it, especially later in life, is strongly linked to prostate enlargement. Sesame seeds help regulate this process naturally, just like some prescription medications do, but without the sexual side effects. In fact, a 2011 study published in the International Journal of Andrology found that sesame seed extract helped reduce markers of oxidative stress and improved hormone balance in aging men. Let me introduce you to Carlos 70, a former jazz pianist. His concern wasn't just nighttime urination. It was the feeling that his energy and mental clarity had faded, slowly and quietly. He added just 2 teaspoons of sesame seeds daily, sprinkled over toast with avocado, or blended into tahini-style dressings. That small change, combined with walking and better hydration, brought noticeable improvements. "I feel like the lights are coming back on," he said, "and not just in the bathroom." How to use sesame seeds for prostate health: 1 to 2 teaspoons of sesame seeds or 1 tablespoon of tahini sesame paste daily can be sprinkled on salads, avocado toast, or stirred into sauces, best consumed with healthy fats for better nutrient absorption. Choose hulled sesame seeds if you have sensitive digestion. Black sesame seeds are more potent but stronger in flavor. Now that we've looked at each seed individually, the question becomes, should you use all 3? And the answer is yes, but in a balanced way. Each of these seeds targets a different pathway. Pumpkin seeds support zinc levels and inflammation. Flax seeds balance hormones and reduce systemic swelling. Sesame seeds help regulate DHT and support hormone detoxification. Used together, they form a complete morning trifecta for your prostate. But there's an art to combining them without overwhelming your digestion or your routine. That's exactly what we'll explore next. But before we do, I want to share a story, one that shows how powerful this seed trio can be when used consistently by someone just like you. When I first met Thomas, he looked exhausted. Not the kind of exhaustion that comes from one bad night's sleep, but the kind that accumulates slowly over months, even years. He was 69, a retired civil engineer, tall and broad-shouldered, but carrying the weight of something he couldn't quite name. He sat in my office with his hands clasped, shoulders slightly hunched forward. After a long pause, he finally said, "It's the bathroom thing, Doc. I'm up 4 times a night, and during the day, I always feel like I need to go, but nothing really comes out. It's messing with my energy, my sleep, and honestly, my confidence." He looked down when he said that last word. Like many men I've spoken to, he was hesitant to bring up the emotional toll. But the truth is, prostate problems don't stay in the bathroom. They creep into how you walk, how you rest, how you speak to your partner. Thomas wasn't just dealing with an enlarged prostate. He was dealing with a quiet erosion of dignity. He had tried supplements, saw palmetto, beta-sitosterol, even a prescription medication that gave him dizziness and a dry mouth. "I'm tired of chasing fixes," he said. "Is there something simple that actually works?" That's when I introduced him to what I call the seed trifecta. We didn't change his entire diet. We didn't start with strict rules or long lists of forbidden foods. We started small, right at breakfast. Here's what I recommended. 2 tablespoons of raw pumpkin seeds with breakfast, sometimes blended into a smoothie, sometimes sprinkled over Greek yogurt with berries. 1 tablespoon of freshly ground flax seeds, stirred into oatmeal or protein shakes. 1 teaspoon of sesame seeds, added to his avocado toast or mixed into tahini for a salad dressing. I asked him to follow this routine for at least 4 weeks. Nothing extreme. Just consistency. Week 1. Not much changed. He told me he still woke up 3 or 4 times. But he noticed something interesting. His digestion felt better. His energy in the afternoon didn't crash as hard. Week 2. His urgency started to ease. He said, "I'm not sprinting to the bathroom anymore. It still comes, but not with the same panic." Week 3. He reported sleeping through the night, twice, for the first time in months. He looked different in our follow-up call. His shoulders were relaxed. He smiled more. By week 5, he was waking only once per night, and that persistent heaviness he used to feel down there, nearly gone. But here's what struck me the most. He said, "Doc, I feel like I'm getting control back, not just over my bladder, but over my mornings. I have more clarity, more patience, and I'm not afraid to leave the house anymore." That's what this is really about. Yes, the seeds helped reduce inflammation. Yes, they supported his hormone levels and eased his symptoms. But more than that, they gave him something most men quietly crave as they age. Agency. The belief that his body wasn't broken. The proof that healing doesn't always come in a bottle, but sometimes in a spoon. And now he shares his seed mix with his brother. He even preps baggies of the blend to keep in the car when he travels. Because once you feel the difference, you don't go back. Thomas's story isn't rare. I've seen this same shift in dozens of men, the moment they stop waiting for a miracle and start giving their body what it was missing all along. Not pills, not shortcuts, but real food, the right nutrients, and just enough belief to try again. In the next section, I'll explain why these seeds work the way they do, what's happening inside your prostate when you feed it zinc, lignans, omega-3s, and phytosterols. Because once you understand the science, you'll never see your breakfast the same way again. Let's break this down, because when you understand what's really happening inside your body, especially inside your prostate, these tiny seeds won't seem so tiny anymore. Your prostate is about the size of a walnut. It sits just below your bladder and wraps around the urethra, the tube that carries urine out of your body. Now imagine a garden hose with a ring around it. If that ring swells, the flow slows. It gets harder to pass water through. You may still try to water the garden, but the pressure is off. You need to squeeze, push harder, or wait longer for the same result. That's exactly what happens with an enlarged prostate. The ring swells, flow weakens, and worse, it doesn't just block urine, it sends ripple effects through your bladder, your sleep, and even your confidence. So what's causing that swelling? 3 main things: chronic inflammation, hormonal imbalance, especially too much DHT, oxidative stress inside prostate cells. Each of the 3 seeds we discussed target one or more of these root causes. Let's look at how. 1. Pumpkin seeds, lowering inflammation and fueling tissue. Repair pumpkin seeds are rich in zinc, a mineral that acts like a fire extinguisher inside the prostate. Zinc calms the inflammatory alarms that get triggered by age, stress, processed food, and hormone shifts. Think of inflammation as a low-grade fire. It doesn't hurt at first, but it's always burning. Over time, it damages healthy tissue, making the prostate swell. Zinc stops this fire, but it also helps rebuild the tissue afterward, kind of like sending in a cleanup crew after the flames are gone. Beyond zinc, pumpkin seeds also deliver phytosterols. These plant compounds compete with cholesterol and DHT, helping reduce the signals that tell prostate cells to grow too much, too fast. There's even evidence that phytosterols can shrink the volume of the prostate in men with BPH. So pumpkin seeds don't just soothe the swelling, they help reverse it. slowly, naturally, and without side effects. 2. Flax seeds. Hormone balancing from the inside out, flax seeds target a deeper root, your hormonal environment. After 60, testosterone naturally drops. But what many men don't realize is that estrogen levels often stay the same or even rise slightly, and your prostate doesn't like that. Estrogen can stimulate certain cells in the prostate to grow, while low testosterone weakens the checks and balances that keep that growth in control. Flax seeds are rich in lignans, which act like gentle traffic cops at your hormonal intersection. They help modulate both estrogen and testosterone, keeping them in the right range, not too high, not too low. Lignans also bind to estrogen receptors in the gut and liver, helping escort excess estrogen out of the body before it recirculates. And then there's the omega-3 fatty acids in flax. Omega-3s are like lubrication for your blood vessels. They keep them flexible, reduce the stickiness of blood, and help oxygen move freely. That's critical for prostate tissue, which needs steady blood flow to heal, to detox, and to regulate function. So with flax seeds, you're doing two things at once: lowering hormone-driven stimulation and improving blood delivery to the gland. 3. Sesame seeds, blocking DHT without the pills. Now let's talk about DHT, dihydrotestosterone. DHT is a powerful male hormone. It's responsible for many things early in life, like facial hair and voice deepening. But in older age, too much DHT is a problem. It binds to prostate cells and tells them, grow, grow, grow. That's why some medications like finasteride work by blocking DHT production. But those medications can also bring unwanted side effects, like reduced libido, mood changes, and even sexual dysfunction in some men. Here's where sesame seeds shine. They contain sesamin, a lignan that naturally inhibits the same enzyme those drugs target, 5-alpha reductase. That's the enzyme that converts testosterone into DHT. But sesamin does this gently without fully blocking your hormone pathways. It reduces excess DHT without shutting down testosterone entirely. Sesame seeds also provide magnesium, a mineral that acts like a muscle relaxer at the cellular level. It helps the muscles around the urethra and bladder neck stay relaxed, which improves flow and reduces urgency. So if pumpkin seeds cool the fire and flax seeds restore the balance, then sesame seeds quiet the overgrowth signals at the source. Together, these seeds work like a team. Picture it like this. Pumpkin is the repair crew. Zinc and phytosterols patch up inflammation and stop new damage. Flax is the hormone tuner, adjusting the background noise of aging hormones and improving flow. Sesame is the growth regulator, telling the prostate to slow down its expansion without disrupting your entire system. Each seed works in a different department, but when taken together, they create a full support system for your prostate. That's what we mean by synergy, and the reason it works so well, especially for men over 60, is because your body responds best to steady, natural support. Not force, not shocks, but nourishment. These seeds don't override your system. They remind it how to function properly again. And remember this, you're not broken, you're just depleted. Give your body what it's been missing, and you might be surprised at how quickly it responds. Next, let's talk about how you can actually start this without overthinking it, without turning your kitchen upside down, because you don't need a perfect diet. You just need a place to begin. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt in control of your mornings, not rushing, not tired, not scanning the room for the nearest bathroom? I've met so many men who still have strength in their bodies, who still have so much to give, but who carry this quiet belief that maybe their best years are behind them. That maybe comfort, clarity, or confidence is just something you learn to live without after 60. I want to challenge that, because what I've seen again and again is this. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's waiting for you to give it what it's been missing. And you don't have to start with a dramatic change. In fact, I don't recommend it. Start with one thing. 1 teaspoon, 1 tablespoon, 1 seed, one morning. That's how healing begins. Not with perfection, but with pattern. I remember Harold, 72. He used to call himself the midnight sprinter. Every night, like clockwork, 2 a.m., 3:30, 5 a.m., he was up, stumbling in the dark, bladder screaming. He was convinced nothing could help. "I'm too old," he told me. "It's too late." But he made one change. Every morning, he added a tablespoon of ground flax to his oatmeal. That was it. Just one thing. Week 1, nothing. Week 2, still skeptical. Week 3, he slept through the night for the first time in years. That small shift, it gave him hope again. Not just about the bathroom, about life. He started walking more, cooking again, laughing more, living more. Not because of a miracle, but because he made space for his body to do what it's been trying to do all along: heal. You don't need a cabinet full of pills. You don't need to understand every molecule. You just need to begin. So here's a simple way to start. Keep a small glass jar of ground flaxseed in the fridge. Add a spoon to your yogurt or cereal. Pre-mix a bag of raw pumpkin and sesame seeds. Keep it near your coffee machine. Add a scoop to whatever you eat each morning. Make it a ritual, like brushing your teeth or stretching your legs. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up for your body, for your future, and for the people who still count on you. I know habits can be hard to change, especially when you've spent years being told that things just get worse with age. But here's what I've learned after working with thousands of men. The body remembers. It remembers how to heal. It remembers how to rest. It remembers how to perform. You just have to give it the tools. And sometimes the tools are simple. No surgery, no prescriptions, just a handful of seeds, a little patience, and the belief that you're not done yet. Because you're not. Your story isn't finished. You still have mornings ahead of you, walks to take, people to love, a life to live with strength, not survival. And it starts with what you do tomorrow morning. One step, one choice, one spoonful at a time. If you've made it to this point in the video, I want to say something very simple. Thank you. Thank you for choosing to stay, for choosing to listen, for choosing, even quietly, to care about your health, maybe in a way you haven't in a long time. That's not a small thing. In fact, it might be the most important decision you've made all week. You see, most men don't talk about this. They don't talk about the nightly bathroom runs, or the way their body doesn't feel like it used to, or how something as simple as a soft, steady stream now feels like a struggle. And yet, so many are going through the exact same thing. What you're feeling isn't unusual. It's not embarrassing. It's not failure. It's just your body saying, "I need a little help." That's why I made this video. Not to sell you anything, but to remind you that you're not alone and you're not powerless. If this spoke to you, even in a small way, if something clicked, or if it made you look at your breakfast just a little differently, would you let me know? Drop a simple yes in the comments, or share your story. It could be just one line, "I'm trying the flaxseed," or "I didn't know about sesame seeds." Because here's what I've learned. Your story might be the exact thing another man needs to hear to take his first step. And if you found value here, I'd be honored if you'd hit the like button. It helps this message reach more men who, like you, are quietly looking for answers. Better yet, if you want more honest, science-backed, judgment-free conversations about your health, subscribe. I'm here every week sharing simple tools and stories that can change lives, not through fear, but through hope. And before we close, I'll leave you with this. Your body is wiser than you think. It remembers how to heal. You are not too old. You are not too late. You are still worthy of strength, rest, and joy. Let's keep going, one morning at a time. Until next time, take care of yourself. And thank you for showing up today.